Good afternoon. Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1. The final score at Stamford Bridge this lunchtime. Situation at the top of the Premier League. Same points, Manchester United and Chelsea. Manchester United, much the better goal difference, 2 games to play. Lee Dixon, Gavin, Peacock and Garth Crooks are on duty here in the Final Score studio. They're keeping a close eye on the 6 other Premier League games still being played. News on those matches on the way after a quick report on the game at Stamford Bridge from Roger Johnson.
Chelsea celebrated this win as if they'd won the title. United still have the edge in that race, but only on goal difference now. Michael Ballack scored both the home side's goals, an angled first-half header and, decisively, a late penalty after the ball struck Michael Carrick's arm. That goal spared Ricardo Carvalho's embarrassment. His elementary error gifted Wayne Rooney an equaliser just after half-time. It was a pulsating game. Nerves, argy-bargy, chances aplenty. It could have effectively been a title decider had United won. Instead, Newcastle, Bolton, West Ham and Wigan will have a say in who prevails. And to think, these two could face each other for the Champions League too. All to play for. It finished Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1.
Post-match reaction from the game at the Bridge on the way. After the latest news on the rest of the Barclays Premier League games still being played, the fight to avoid relegation firmly in the spotlight. Birmingham kicked off third bottom, hoping they'd face the Liverpool team with their minds firmly on next Wednesday's Champions League semi-final. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
We're in the last 20 minutes here at St Andrews. Birmingham 2, Liverpool 1 is still the scoreline. Lacklustre Liverpool, unrecognisable from the side that's so impressed in Europe. Literally 9 changes. They fell 2 behind here, though. Forsell and Larsson with 2 fine goals. But Peter Crouch has just pulled one back with a fine strike for Liverpool. They appear belatedly to have stirred. Voronen's just driven narrowly wide. Birmingham getting anxious. They lead 2-1.
Goals at the bottom of League Two could change the relegation issue. Dagenham and Redbridge 3-2 up away at Darlington. Rotherham 1 up away at Mansfield. Mathematically, Sunderland and Middlesbrough aren't safe. Highly unlikely either will go down, but both clubs want to get to the safety line. Steve Sutton reporting.
Well, both clubs could do with a win, Ray, but a draw will probably do the way results are going elsewhere around the country, and Middlesbrough have just equalised. Sunderland 2, Middlesbrough 2. Afonso Alves sliding the ball across the line after some great blocking work in the Sunderland goal, where they couldn't get the ball away, and Alves putting the ball across the line. 2-2.
Let's hear about fifth bottom Bolton, who are playing away at Tottenham. David Garrido.
One apiece still here, Ray. The visitors hanging on for a point despite going ahead just 19 seconds after the break. Double substitution from Gary Megson doing the trick. El Hadj Diouf involved in the build-up. Celios bundling the ball home. But moments later, Spurs level. Good interplay from Genius and Keane. Malbronk slotting home at the far post. And Keane, Malbronk and Berbatov should all have scored since then, but it remains Tottenham 1, Bolton 1.
And neither Wigan or Reading are safe, but Reading in the most trouble of the two clubs. Damien Johnson.
Wigan 0, Reading 0, tight and tense as you'd expect. Few chances for either side. Paul Sharner hit the post in the first half for Wigan. Marcus Hanneman saved a Michael Brown drive in the second. Reading were desperately close in this second period. A left-wing run from Leroy Leiter, but his angled shot rolled agonisingly wide. Dubry's just had a header saved. Glenn Little's on after a long time absence. He's come off the bench. He's had an Achilles injury. Can he turn it? It's 0-0.
News on second bottom Fulham now. They're playing away at Manchester City. They need a miracle. Richard Askham.
They do, Ray. It's Manchester City 2, Fulham 1, but Diamanti Camara has just scored for Fulham. All his own work, twisting, turning, shooting in off City keeper Joe Hart to give the visitors an unlikely lifeline. Before that, City had cut through at will in the first half, an island curler and a Benjani tap-in, putting them 2 up before the break. Overall, the pace of Petrov, Vassell and Benjani has been too hot for the visitors to handle, but they are back in it.
And it's Upton Park. West Ham versus Newcastle. Tony Lockwood reporting.
West Ham 2, Newcastle 2. For 40 minutes, it looked a mismatch. West Ham dominant. Mark Noble volleyed them ahead from a George McCartney centre. Dean Ashton added a second with a low-angled strike. Keegan's Newcastle hadn't fashioned a single chance. That was until Joey Barton picked out Obafemi Martins, whose composed finish made a match of it. And then Martins' goal-bound effort diverted in by Jeremy on the stroke of half-time. It's still 2-2.
Well, Garth, 3 o'clock, we said if Birmingham could win, it would just sort the relegation issue out, completely change things round.
It's an incredible situation. At the moment, I make it Three teams on 37 points. That's Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Bolton. Wigan, Middlesbrough and Sunderland. Bolton are on 33. Reading fighting for their lives. Now, if things change, if Wigan were to lose against Reading, the whole thing would go up in the air.
Lee, 4 points between 6 teams at the moment.
It's fascinating. Every time we turn and watch one screen, something else happens on another, and it's end to end. I think the key at this moment, the way it stands, is that Reading have got to get something, and also Wigan. You know, Wigan's last 2 games are Villa away, Man United at home, so you don't think they're going to get anything there. If Reading can just pinch a win at Wigan, it's going to be all the balls are in the air. Yeah,
when Bolton took the lead at Spurs, it looked like they were on their way to 3 successive wins and completely getting themselves out of trouble. A goal's completely pegged that back, and they were unfortunate to concede.
Yeah, it was a little bit unlucky, a deflection. And, you know, you talk about certain bits of good fortune, perhaps. You know, it's gone against them there. Birmingham have had it, in as much as Liverpool, in between these big Champions League games, have put out a weakened side. Although Birmingham are hanging on here a bit. Liverpool have, since that goal, they've turned the screw, pennants causing problems, and Birmingham are hanging on.
Well, we're waiting to see if scorelines change in those matches. On the back of the Chelsea-Manchester United result, here's some post-match reaction from Stamford Bridge.
And hand on heart, did you think it was a penalty?
Yeah, I saw on television it was clear penalty. So it was a penalty. But I think more than this, we deserved to win the game because we was better than Man United. We dominated the game. We played with a lot of passion.
You know, I haven't seen it, but Mike said he tried to get his arm out the way. It's just one of the things. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. We don't seem to be getting them at the moment, but you know, hopefully we haven't got long left, but they'll even themselves out.
We're not in the cup final for a lack of decision in the wrong moment. The same referee, the same linesman today that conceded so easy the penalty against us, the same linesman in Middlesbrough that make a couple of bad decisions and cost the game also for us. Rob Styles some penalties, in Barcelona 3 penalties. So what is necessary to do to have a penalty in our side? First minute, Cristiano Ronaldo in the box, corner kick, Ballack, Crab. So I think it is necessary to bring a gun and shoot somebody in the box to make a penalty in our side.
I know what is my job. My job is to pull everybody together, to play good football and to win games. And I saw that we can do it, even when we were 7 points behind. And I still believe that we can do it.
Manchester United still favourites for the title. More on that in a moment, because there's been another goal at St Andrews. Birmingham playing Liverpool. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
It's a really extraordinary turnaround, this. Birmingham 2, they look to be cruising. 2-0 up. Liverpool, though, have pulled 2 back now. Crouch first, and then this latest one was a real stroke of misfortune. Across from the right, an own goal off Jaidi and Benayoun involved. 2-2.
That's changing things round as far as relegation is concerned. And Manchester City playing Fulham. Richard Askham.
You join me, Ray, just as Fulham equalised. Danny Murphy from the spot. It was saved initially just a moment ago by Joe Hart, but he knocked in the rebound. An unlikely story is on the cards here, Ray, because it is now Manchester City 2, Fulham 2.
Well, the relegation issue is changing round by the minute. Let's just summarise what happened at Stamford.
What I'm seeing.
Well, let's just summarise what happened at Stamford Bridge at lunchtime, first of all. Do you still see Manchester United as a clear favourite? Who's going to drop points? Where's the title going to go?
Well, I said 3 weeks ago, when I did the maths, that I thought that Chelsea would somehow sneak it. It's ever close for Chelsea. They've got a wonderful opportunity. The remaining fixture look very difficult. It's on goal difference, but United cannot afford now to slip up again.
Will Manchester United slip up? Will Chelsea slip up?
I don't think so. You look at West Ham at home and Wigan away. If you don't win those 2 games, going for the Championship, Alex Ferguson even will probably say we don't deserve to win it. So I think United will still do it on goal difference.
What's your reading of this, Gavin?
Still advantage Manchester United, although psychologically today Chelsea hit back, and also United losing Wayne Rooney. I don't know how bad that injury is going to be.
And Vidic.
And Vidic as well went off. So, you know, we've yet to see how bad they'll be.
That's the situation as far as the game's concerned left for Manchester United and Chelsea. Relegation issue changing all the time in the Barclays Premier League. Fulham getting back to 2-2. Birmingham conceding a goal. Reading need a goal this afternoon, don't they? Bolton were pegged back to equalise. The third relegation place looks like it's going to go anyway. Fulham in with a chance, but still look like they'll take the second alongside Derby. To Scotland, Celtic and Rangers meet in the final Old Firm game of the season tomorrow. Celtic lead the table by 2 points. Rangers have 3 games in hand. Who finishes third has to be decided, and the lunchtime game between Motherwell and Dundee United sheds some light on that issue. Andy Gillies watched the game.
Honours even and no advantage gained in the race for the UEFA Cup place. Twice Motherwell led the game, twice United equalised. The visitors will feel they could have done better in a particularly bright start to the game. Motherwell will regret Lasley blasting wide when through on goal in the last minute. Both Motherwell's goals came from the head of leading scorer Chris Porter. United levelled just before half-time through a Craigan own goal, and then 4 minutes from the end of the game through a Wilkie header. The result fair, and the European race goes on.
The match underway between Aberdeen and Hibs will supply the next twist and turn in regard to the scrap for third place in the SPL. Ian Turner reporting.
Yeah, well, Hibs have just collapsed. It doesn't look as if they're interested in third place in the SPL. Aberdeen are up by 2-1. Mackey and Miller getting the goals for them. Hibs down to 9 men. Substitute Nis just sent off, joining Thierry Gattuso in the early bath. It looks as if it's 3 points for Aberdeen, none for Hibs.
News on today's Coca-Cola Championship games now. Everything to play for. League leaders West Bromwich Albion play relegation-threatened Southampton on Monday. Although Albion could be promoted by then, it depends on Hull's result at Crystal Palace. If Hull don't win, Albion are promoted. Palace hold the key for the final playoff place. James Mason reporting.
And it's still 1-1, Ray, with Hull desperately pushing for a goal to give them any chance of automatic promotion. But since Scott Sinclair's equaliser, the atmosphere around the KC has been dampened, and 1 apiece is a fair scoreline with about 15 minutes to play, Ray.
West Bromwich Albion are up. Stoke are up. If they win, they'll go back to the top flight of English football for the first time since 1985. They're away at already relegated Colchester. Mark Bishop reporting.
Colchester United 0, Stoke City 1. There's going to be some party amongst the 2,000 visiting supporters crammed into Layer Road. They know that Stoke City have got 1 foot firmly in the Premier League. Liam Lawrence's crucial goal just before half-time, the difference so far. Dean Gherkin, the goalkeeper for Colchester, 2 fine saves to deny Sidderby and Fuller. But Stoke are on top. Colchester 0, Stoke City 1.
It could be a landmark day in the history of Stoke City. As far as relegation are concerned, Leicester City against Sheffield Wednesday. 5th bottom versus 3rd bottom when the game kicked off. Steve May.
Well, Wednesday still leading here by 2-1, Ray, and looking at their first victory in 9 games. What a time to do it. Ian Hume put Leicester ahead. Wednesday weathered the early storm. They missed a penalty through Dion Burton, and then just before half-time, Songo equalised. Watson made it 2-1 just after half-time. Ian Hume then missed a penalty for Leicester, hitting wide, and we now could be looking for Leicester City to make their first ever appearance in the 3rd tier of English football. It's Leicester 1, Wednesday 2, and we've got 11 minutes left.
Southampton 3rd bottom as things stand. They play West Bromwich Albion on Monday. Right, let's go into the situation in League One. Swansea have enough points to be the champions, but the trophy can't be handed out because Leeds have their appeal against their 15-point deduction. That still has to be ruled on for allegedly breaking insolvency rules. It's muddying the water in regard to the automatic promotion places. As things stood at kick-off time, Carlisle, Doncaster, Nottingham Forest and Southend all within a chance of the second automatic promotion place. Right, let's hear about Carlisle's game away at relegation-threatened Millwall from Vasant Alexander.
Not relegation-threatened anymore. Millwall 3, Carlisle 0. Jay Simpson, Neil Harris from the penalty spot and Tony Craig with the goals for Millwall. Carlisle have had their captain Danny Livesey sent off and they're heading for their 3rd straight defeat. On this form, you certainly wouldn't back them in the playoffs. They were hoping to seal promotion before kick-off here at the New Den. A win and other results going their way would have done that. Millwall called this game bigger than the FA Cup, with relegation still a possibility this morning, but they look safe now. Millwall 3, Carlisle 0.
Let's hear about Doncaster playing already relegated Luton. Andy Barwell.
And it looks like game over here at the Keith Moat Stadium. Doncaster 2-0 up. Mark McCammon with a header, doubling the home side's advantage, adding to a first-half goal from Matt Mills. Doncaster racing ahead for that second automatic promotion place. They lead relegated Luton 2-0.
Video printer confirming that Nottingham Forest have scored away at Hartlepool. Brian McLaughlin reporting.
They have, Ray, with just 6 minutes left on the clock, and it's been on the cards for most of the second half. Lewis McWigan, just a few minutes after coming off the bench, a lovely curling left foot shot, 22 yards out beyond Lee Barrett and into the back of the net. Hartlepool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. A crucial goal here at the Victoria Stadium.
Barnsley playing their way to safety in the Championship. 1 point separating 3 clubs in the scrap for the second automatic promotion place in League One. In League Two, MK Dons and Peterborough have already won promotion. Hereford could join them if they win and other results go their way. Are Hereford supplying their factor in the equation? Ross Fletcher reporting.
They certainly are, and so too are Stockport. Hereford now stand 3.5 minutes away from a first return to the third tier of English football in 30 years, because Hereford lead Brentford by 2 goals to nil, and Barnet are beating Stockport 2-1. Goals for Hereford from Gary Hooper and Theo Robinson, who could have had a hat-trick. The Hereford fans, 1,400 of them, away to my left-hand side, popping balloons and going crazy. They stand on the precipice of League One football.
Well, Stockport are losing. Congratulations, we could be saying, to Hereford in a few minutes' time and being promoted up to League One. Relegation-wise, who's going to join Wrexham, who'll be relegated out of the Football League after 87 years? It could be Mansfield, who are playing a Rotherham side, safe from relegation, but facing the prospect of liquidation. Steve Lee reporting.
And it's Mansfield 0, Rotherham 1. Heartbreaker. Nearly a second goal for Rotherham there. Heartbreak for Mansfield and their fans in their fight to avoid the drop. Not so much great escape, more like 40 towers. Probably the most bizarre goal of the day. Rotherham sub Jamie Yates whacked a hopeful punt into the air from 30 yards on the wing. It sailed over the Mansfield keeper's head. It may go into the bloopers tape, but I tell you what, no one here at Mansfield's laughing. It's Mansfield 0, Rotherham 1.
Dagenham and Redbridge were 2 down, come back to lead 3-2, taking them away from trouble. Dagenham and Redbridge play Mansfield next week. Mansfield could be down by then because Chester can put them down in mid-week. Preston 2, Ipswich 2. A late equaliser from Jonathan Walters with 3 minutes to go. Will that prove to be enough to get Ipswich into the playoffs? We will see. Norwich safe, beating Queen's Park Rangers by 3 goals to nil. Bad start to the season, improved, fell away again, but Norwich are safe. They're going to be staying in the Championship. Birmingham-Liverpool, closing stage at St Andrews. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, just about 4 minutes left here. Birmingham will be kicking themselves. They were 2-0 up with less than half an hour to go. Then Crouch and now a Jaidi own goal off Benny Youn's header have given Liverpool a share of it here, and they're pressing for a winner. It's 2-2.
Birmingham third bottom as things stand. Bolton also in trouble away at Tottenham. David Garrido's at White Hart Lane.
Spurs 1, Bolton 1. Bolton living extremely dangerously though. Spurs with chance after chance to win this game despite going behind at the start of the second half. Sub Darren Bent on for Michael Dawson, latched onto a through ball, couldn't quite lob it over Ali Al-Habsi. Dimitar Berbatov forcing a fine save at full stretch from the Bolton keeper. Keane and Woodgate have both gone close as well. Spurs 1, Bolton 1.
A goal for Reading in the minutes to come would be priceless. Any chance of them scoring it? Damien Johnson reporting.
Well, the chances are all coming at the other end, to be honest. Reading, Wigan look the more likely to score. 1 goal-mouth scramble in the Reading area. Indecision on the part of the defenders there, and it was Dave Kitson, of all people, who hammered the ball clear. Andre Biquet's had a shot over the bar, free kick. Few chances at either end. It's tense, it's tight. As you'd expect, it's 0-0.
Let's head back to the Stadium of Light. Steve Sutton's watching the Sunderland-Middlesbrough game.
It's still 2-2, Ray. 1 minute of normal time left, but I'm guessing there'll be a huge chunk of added on time because we have had some long injuries. Higginbottom and Chopra, Tunshai and Alves, the scorers, were guaranteed quite a finish. 2-2.
5 points from safety, 2 games to go. Fulham hanging on just in the Barclays Premier League. They're away in Manchester City this afternoon. How they could do with a winning goal in the moments to come. Richard Askham.
They could, Ray. It's Manchester City 2, Fulham 2. Fulham are pressing now, given real hope by that Murphy equaliser. Ben Johnny's just away for Manchester City. He squares it to Fernandes, but the move is breaking down. He gets his shot away, but it goes just over the bar. Fulham, though, overall, Ray, are pressing. Bullard has gone close with a 25-yard screamer, but they just can't find that winner.
Final whistle starting to sound all round the country. Goals scored in the seconds to come will be absolutely vital. Let's go to Upton Park. Tony Lockwood's watching West Ham play Newcastle.
4 minutes left, still West Ham 2, Newcastle 2. All 4 goals coming in the first half as Jeremy crosses and Martins can't get ahead on it. Dean Ashton denied the save of the match from Steve Harper. Before that, Ashton hooking wide from 6 yards. McCartney wasteful in front of goal. West Ham booed off a week ago. A lot better this afternoon, but it's still West Ham 2, Newcastle 2.
Never dull when Kevin Keegan's in charge of a football club. Newcastle on a great run, 6 unbeaten going into this game. Who's going to score the goals that's going to change the ground relegation-wise, Gavin?
Well, at the moment, I'm watching the Birmingham game and have been all afternoon, and how they've let this slip, I do not know. And it looks, if anyone's going to win it, it looks like Liverpool will. And of course, Wigan, Reading, you know, either one of those is desperate for a goal in that game.
Anything jumping off the screen for you, Lee?
Well, I think now you look at the game, Wigan, Reading, and they look like the team that's going to perhaps get a winner, but it's still 0-0.
Another goal has gone in at the Stadium of Light. Closing stages of the game. Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, how many times it's happened? It's happened again in added-on time. Sunderland 3, Middlesbrough 2. Daryl Murphy, a substitute coming on just a couple of minutes earlier. His header on the underside of the crossbar and across the line. Sunderland 3, Middlesbrough 2.
Sunderland safe. Middlesbrough could be in a spot of bother. All change in the Championship. Closing stages of the games. The games are going to affect who's going to get the automatic promotion places. Hull against Crystal Palace. James Mason.
Yes, Red, late drama. Hull City 2, Crystal Palace 1. The goal scored by captain Gary Ashby. A superb header to breathe life into their Premiership hopes. Hull City 2, Crystal Palace 1.
Both of them need the points.
That means no one has automatic promotion as things stand. Drama in the last few moments of the Hull Crystal Palace match. Hull win the game. It still means it's incredibly open who are going to get the automatic promotion places into the Barclays Premier League. Stoke thought they were going to go up. They're away at Colchester. Mark Bishop.
Colchester United 0, Stoke City 1, and that news, Ray, has filtered through to my right-hand side. 2,000 Stoke fans, as if someone has thrown a cloak over their voices. They're crestfallen, but Stoke leading still, of course, through that goal. We've been given it now to Richard Creswell from close range just before the break. Still Colchester 0, Stoke 1.
Well, the drama around the country as far as promotion and relegation is concerned, and there are goals still being scored as we speak. There has been a goal at the City of Manchester Stadium. Manchester City playing Fulham. Richard Askham.
Ray, I'm looking at a scene of Fulham fans going absolutely wild. Diamanti Camara has given them a lead. What a cracking goal it was as well. He burst a full 20 yards before placing the ball into the back of the net. It is now Manchester City 2. Amazingly, Fulham 3.
Well, this is absolutely amazing, incredible. Are we going over the top here, Garth?
No, this is one of the best comebacks I've seen since, I don't know, Arsenal played Bolton and got man sent off. Kamara's come on as substitute. He scored 2 goals. This is extraordinary. You look at this table now and you see that Fulham have got 2 away games. They've got 3 points out of this. If they win their 2 remaining games, it gives them a real lifeline.
And their next game is Birmingham.
And that is critical, that game at Birmingham.
All of a sudden, Reading out the relegation places.
Well, it is. We've been sitting here, Ray, and trying to work this out as it's changing all afternoon. It's so difficult to predict. Yeah, Reading are out of it, but just for now. The boys are right. That's huge. That game, and it's Fulham. Fulham have got the home game, home advantage.
But Reading only have 33 points. They've got Tottenham and Derby to play. Yep. They are still got a great lifeline. They're not dead yet.
Fulham Birmingham next week is a key game. Goals still being scored at the Walker Stadium. Leicester City against Sheffield Wednesday. This is all about the relegation issue in the Championship. Which way's the goal gone, Steve May?
It's gone to Sheffield Wednesday. It's a goal by Leon Clark. He's looped the ball over Paul Henderson. I think Leicester were thinking there was an offside decision coming. It didn't come. And Leon Clark has got a 3rd goal for Sheffield Wednesday. And if one result determines the season, it could well be this. Because Leicester, who thought that win at Barnsley last week would be good enough, have now been dragged back into things. It's Leicester 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3.
Oh, what an afternoon this has been. Final whistle sounding at the City of Manchester Stadium. Manchester City playing Fulham. Fulham spent most of the afternoon relegated the way the results were going. Suddenly the situation is transformed dramatically. Richard Askham.
You're telling me, Ray, Manchester City 2, Fulham 3. A game that looked lost for Fulham suddenly sprang into life. Ireland and Benjani had put City 2 up at the break and the home side were coasting. But Fulham refused to lie down, got one back through substitute Diamanti Camara before Danny Murphy converted from the spot at the second attempt. The away side then pressed Dempsey and the excellent Bullard going close before Camara burst through to score a fantastic and unlikely winner that keeps Fulham's hopes of staying up very much alive.
Well played, Fulham. 7 years in the Premier League. What a salvage operation. Right, now let's go to the Wigan game. Wigan this afternoon at home to Reading. Let's hear the final whistle report from Damien Johnson.
It's Wigan 0, Reading 0. This was all about tension and pressure. Neither side gave an inch in the battle for Premier League survival. There were few chances. Paul Sharner hit the post for Wigan in the first half. Leroy Lito was inches wide from an acute angle after a determined run in the second. Marlon King almost won it at the death for Wigan, the substitute. His shot well saved by Hanneman in injury time. Not an ideal result for either side. Marginally better, I suppose, for Reading. They have a slightly easier run in. It's 0-0.
Right, let's go to White Hart Lane. David Garrido watched the Tottenham-Bolton game. Bolton desperately trying to get themselves away from the relegation places. David Garrido.
And it finished Spurs 1, Bolton 1. The game properly kicked into life in the second half. Bolton's lead through Celios lasting just 6 minutes. Malbronk with the equaliser. The Frenchman, one of several Spurs players who could have won it. Berbatov and Bent with glorious chances. Perhaps the Bulgarians' mind on a move away from the lane this summer. Well, Bolton will be thankful not only to their keeper Ali El Habsi for keeping them in it, but also to Liverpool for keeping Birmingham in the bottom three. Spurs 1, Bolton 1.
Let's go to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland against Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough, well, the alarm bells will be ringing somewhat. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, it's finished Sunderland 3, Middlesbrough 2. Middlesbrough's players absolutely shattered at the final whistle. Sunderland jubilant. They know that they're in the Premiership next season. The story of the match, quickly, Tunchai opened the scoring for Middlesbrough on 4 minutes. Higginbottom's header equalised 2 minutes later. Then, just after the break, Michael Chopra made it 2-1 to Sunderland before Alves, after Downing had had 2 shots blocked, put in the rebound. It just crept over the line. Sunderland desperately trying to keep it out. And then into added on time, 91 minutes, Daryl Murphy, a substitute. His header from a corner on the underside of the crossbar. David Wheater thought he'd hooked it out, but Steve Bennett, the referee, said it was over the line. Sunderland win 3-2.
Sunderland safe, another late goal. Birmingham spent a lot of the afternoon out of the relegation places because they were leading Liverpool. Suddenly they find themselves back in the relegation places. Ivan Gaskell.
2-2, a real chance missed for Birmingham. Liverpool lacking interest, energy and ideas for an hour. Initially, Birmingham took full advantage. First Forsell, then Larsson, either side of the break, stylishly establishing a 2-goal lead. But suddenly Pennant came to life. He set up Crouch, who coolly pulled one back. Then Lucas crossed, Benayoun diverted towards goal. Jaidi so unlucky as it ricocheted off his back, wrong-footing Taylor. Birmingham will be kicking themselves if manager Alex McLeish isn't doing it for them. 2-2.
That final whistle has gone to at Upton Park. West Ham against Newcastle. Let's hear from Tony Lockwood.
Newcastle made it 7 unbeaten with a 2-2 draw in East London. Always difficult for the second half to match the first for incident and drama. All full goals come in the opening 45 minutes. Mark Noble volleying the home side in front. Dean Ashton doubling their lead before Obafemi Martins led the Newcastle fight back with a classy finish. And then Martin's strike was diverted in by Jeremy right on the stroke of half-time. Good match this, 2-2 it finished.
Hereford are back in the third tier of English football for the first time in 30 years. Congratulations to them. Ross Fletcher reporting.
And 1,400 Hereford fans having an absolute ball here. A new set of heroes to sit alongside the team that upset Newcastle in the 1972 FA Cup. They've beaten Brentford by 3-0. Gary Hooper, Theo Robinson and Simon Johnson in injury time. Coupled with Stockport's defeat at Barnet, it means they are back in the third tier of English football. And what are they too for Graham Turner? 3 decades of the highs and lows, the trials and tribulations as manager, owner, director of Hereford United. He now sits again in the League One placings. Hereford have beaten Brentford by 3-0 and they are promoted.
Congratulations go to Hereford. In League One, Swansea promoted, can't get the Championship trophy yet. That's all about Leeds' appeal against the 15 points they had deducted. Carlisle in with a chance of their third promotion in 4 years. Messed things up, Vassos Alexander.
Yeah, they lost 3-0 here at Millwall. Carlisle could have sealed automatic promotion here if they won and other results went their way, but they lost and other results didn't. Millwall make sure of safety with goals from Jay Simpson and Tony Craig and a penalty from Neil Harris. The Carlisle captain Danny Livesey was sent off. The Cumbrians have now lost 3 games in a row and won't fancy their chances of making it through the playoffs on today's performance. And with Doncaster and Forest winning today, Carlisle slipped down the table. Millwall 3, Carlisle 0.
That's how it stands going into the final league game of the season. Let's hear about Doncaster this afternoon. At home to already relegated Luton. Andy Barwell reporting.
Doncaster looking to get promoted to the second tier of English football for the first time in around half a century. A comfortable 2-0 win here has taken them closer to achieving that dream. Matt Mills and Mark McCammon settling their nerves late on. Luton's effort, except for keeper Dean Brill, excellent today, is best forgotten. It's been party time for Doncaster fans. They think their team can avoid the angst of the playoffs. Full-time Doncaster 2, Luton 0.
Don't rule out Nottingham Forest. They played away at Hartlepool today, watched by Brian McLaughlin.
Where it finished Hartlepool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Substitute Lewis McWigan, the Forest hero, with a lovely curling left foot shot from 22 yards with just 6 minutes left in the clock. This is a game, though, that Forest should have had wrapped up long before then. Nathan Tyson and Chris Commons, the main culprits in passing up golden opportunities in front of goal. Then came that crucial strike from McWigan. There's just 6 minutes left for play, and that sent the travelling support into song. Full time at Victoria Stadium is Hartlepool 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Leeds confirmed in the playoffs, but look at the difference between Leeds and the automatic promotion places. If they get points back on their appeal, it could turn the automatic promotion race on its head. In the Championship, for a long time this afternoon, West Bromwich Albion were promoted and so was Stoke City. Events in the Hull Crystal Palace match changed things round late in the game. James Mason reporting.
Yes, Ray, it's finished Hull City 2, Crystal Palace 1. A captain's goal by Ian Ashby 5 minutes from time has kept Hull City's Premiership dream alive. The playoffs looked a certainty for both teams after Sinclair cancelled out Fraser Campbell's early goal, but Hull never gave up, and a player who has played in all 3 divisions with Hull could yet lead them into the Premiership. It finished Hull 2, Crystal Palace 1.
West Bromwich Albion play Southampton on Monday. They could clinch the promotion then. Stoke, for a long part of the afternoon, were on their way back to the top flight of English football for the first time since 1985. Away at already relegated Colchester, watched by Mark Bishop.
Colchester United 0, Stoke 1. Stoke will have to wait for their final game versus Leicester City to decide if they can ensure automatic promotion, Ray, after Colchester battled and scrapped to keep a rampant Stoke at bay. Creswell in the end credited with that goal just before half-time. It could have been more. Gherkin making 2 terrific saves to deny Fuller and Siderby. It's ended Colchester 0, Stoke City 1.
Final league game ever at Lair Road this afternoon for Colchester, and their ground has been a great servant to the club down the years. The relegation issue, Leicester City against Sheffield Wednesday. This was 5th bottom against 3rd bottom when the match got going at 3 o'clock. Steve May reporting.
Things not looking very good for Leicester City, as my good friend Mark Bishop has just said there. Their final match is at Stoke City next Sunday. That'll be a difficult one for them. They'll be watching Southampton's game at West Brom on Monday with great interest. It was Wednesday's first win in 9 after being a goal down and missing a penalty. Songo and Watson got the goal. Hume missed the penalty, which would have made it 2-2. Substitute Clark got the 3rd. Leicester 1, Wednesday 3.
The 3rd relegation place. Anyone's guess who's going to fill that. Final league games of the season next weekend. What a season it's been up and down the Football League and in the Barclays Premier League too, of course. All results are just about in. Time for Tim Gudgeon to confirm today's final scores.
Yeah, what an eventful afternoon, Ray. In the Barclays Premier League, Birmingham City 2, Liverpool 2. Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1. Manchester City 2, Fulham 3. Sunderland 3, Middlesbrough 2. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. West Ham United 2, Newcastle United 2. Wigan Athletic 0, Reading 0. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Barnsley 3, Charlton Athletic 0. Burnley 3, Cardiff City 3. Colchester United 0, Stoke City 1. Coventry City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Hull City 2, Crystal Palace 1. Leicester City 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Norwich City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Plymouth Argyle 3, Blackpool 0. Preston North End 2, Ipswich Town 2. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 1. Watford 0, Scunthorpe United 1. In the Coca-Cola League 1, Bournemouth 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Doncaster Rovers 2, Luton Town 0. Gillingham 1, Swindon Town 1. Hartlepool United 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Huddersfield Town 2, Walsall 0. Millwall 3, Carlisle United 0. Oldham Athletic 2, Cheltenham Town 1. Port Vale 2, Northampton Town 2. Swansea City 4, Leyton Orient 1. Tranmere Rovers 1, Southend United 0. League 2, Barnet 2, Stockport County 1. Bradford City 1, Milton Keynes Dons 2. Brentford 0, Hereford United 3. Bury 1, Rochdale 1 is the latest score. Darlington 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 3. Grimsby Town 1, Peterborough United 4. Macclesfield Town 1, Chesterfield 0. Mansfield Town 0, Rotherham United 1. Morecambe 1, Lincoln City 2. Notts County 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Shrewsbury Town 0, Chester City 0. Wrexham 1, Accrington Stanley 3. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 2, Hibernian 1. Hearts 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 0. Kilmarnock 1, Gretna 1. Motherwell 2, Dundee United 2. St Mirren 1, Falkirk 0. The Ernbrew Scottish Division 1, Clyde 3, Stirling Albion 0. Dundee 1, Hamilton Academical 1. Dunfermline Athletic 4, Queen of the South 0. Partick Thistle 0, Morton 3. St Johnstone 5, Livingston 2. Scottish Div 2, Alloa Athletic 2, Berwick Rangers 1. Ayr United 1, Airdrie United 2. Brechin City 3, Ross County 3. Cowdenbeath 1, Queen's Park 0. Wraith Rovers 2, Peterhead 5. And Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 2, East Fife 2. Arbroath 0, Stranraer 0. East Stirling 3, Montrose 1. Elgin City 1, Stenhousemuir 5. Forfar Athletic 1, Dumbarton 1.
One late kick-off in Coca-Cola League 2. Bury 1, Rochdale 1, the latest score. That match kicked off 15 minutes late because of crowd congestion. You can't often say that, can you? But this is a Lancashire derby. Bury and Rochdale fans both wanted to get there to see which way the game goes. 1-1 at Gig Lane so far. Today's Blue Square Premier League games kick off at 5:15, final league games of the season. But let's turn now to the updated league tables. And in the Barclays Premier League, Manchester United lead on goal difference after losing at Chelsea, although it's still in Manchester United's hands because they're 16 goals better off than Chelsea. Last time the top division was settled on goal difference was in 1989 when Arsenal pipped Liverpool to the title. Arsenal currently third. They play Derby on Monday. Liverpool looks certain to clinch the fourth Champions League spot despite drawing with Birmingham. Everton and Aston Villa play each other at Goodison Park tomorrow. Derby already down, of course. Fulham have given themselves hope with their amazing comeback at Manchester City. They're 3 points from safety with 2 games left, and they play Birmingham next. Birmingham still in the bottom 3 after drawing 2-2 with Liverpool. Reading's point to Wigan, enough to keep them a point above the drop zone. They're level on points with Bolton, who drew at Tottenham. Coca-Cola Championship. It's been a topsy-turvy season, and we still don't know who's going to go up to next season's Premier League. Stoke are top after beating Colchester, while Hull guaranteed themselves a playoff spot and kept the hopes of automatic promotion alive with a late winner against Crystal Palace. West Bromwich Albion can clinch promotion against Southampton on Monday. Bristol City definitely in the playoffs despite losing at Sheffield United today. Colchester and Scunthorpe already down, and Southampton are now in pole position to join them. The Saints have slipped into the bottom 3 after Sheffield Wednesday won at Leicester. The good news for Southampton, they have a game in hand over their relegation rivals. The bad news, it's at promotion chasing West Bromwich Albion on Monday. Everything to play for. Coca-Cola League One. Champion Swansea going up in style. They stretched their lead to 9 points after a 4-1 win over Leyton Orient. Doncaster have moved into the second automatic promotion place after beating Luton. Nottingham Forest just a point behind after winning at Huddersfield. Carlisle, who began the day in second, are now fourth after losing 3-0 at Millwall. Southend and Leeds complete the playoff places, but remember, Leeds could have their 15-point penalty overturned. They could get some points back. It would depend on how many that could put them into the automatic promotion picture. Luton and Port Vale already relegated. Gillingham looked likely to join them after being held at home by Swindon. They'll have to win at Leeds next week to stay up. Bournemouth's amazing revival continues. They recorded their 6th straight win, beating Crewe 1-0. They're now just 1 point from safety going into the final week. Cheltenham, the team just above them, they lost at Oldham. Coca-Cola League Two. MK Dons have secured the League Two title after their win at Bradford. Congratulations to the Dons. They had already clinched promotion, as had Peterborough, who also won today. And they'll be joined by Hereford, who clinched the third automatic promotion place with victory at Brentford today. Stockport, Rochdale, Darlington and Wickham have already clinched the playoff spots. Another defeat today for Wrexham, whose relegation was confirmed in midweek. Mansfield looks set to join them in next season's Blue Square Premier League after their defeat at home to Rotherham today. They could be relegated on Tuesday if Chester get anything out of their result at Stockport. But next weekend, Mansfield Town play Dagenham and Redbridge. Here's the SPL. Celtic and Rangers meet at Celtic Park tomorrow. All eyes today on the race for UEFA Cup place that comes with third. Motherwell are the favourites to claim that place after drawing 2-2 with Dundee United. They stay a point above Dundee United with 2 games in hand. The other end, relegated Gretna drew 1-1 at Kilmarnock. I'm Bruce, Scottish Division 1. Hamilton, who drew with second place Dundee today, already up as champions. Stirling Albion had already been relegated before today's fixtures. Clyde beat them today, but they'll still have to go into the playoffs to preserve their first division status. That's because Morton also won and have a better goal difference, just 1 goal in it. Division 2. Champions Ross County ended their season with a 3-3 draw at Brechin. Erdry, Wraith and Alloa finished in the playoff places. Relegated Berwick ended their campaign with defeat at Alloa. Division 3, East Fife already promoted as champions. Stranraer, Montrose and Arbroath will compete in the playoffs along with Clyde to see who'll be playing in the second division next season. East Stirling have avoided a 6th consecutive bottom of the table finish after victory at home to Montrose. They finished the season a point ahead of Forfar. Plenty of post-match reaction to come after this summary of the top football stories of the day. Ballock's late penalty gives Chelsea a vital victory over the champions Manchester United. The United lead on goal difference with 2 to play. Amara's last-minute winner caps an amazing comeback for Fulham, who are still in with a chance of survival. Just. Birmingham blew a 2-goal lead against Liverpool to remain in the relegation places. Crouch and Benayoun grabbed the Reds' second-half goals. Stelios' goal helped Bolton pick up a point at Tottenham to stay above the bottom 3. An important draw for Reading. Their stalemate at Wigan keeps them out of the relegation zone. Pogatet's last-minute own goal gives Sunderland a dramatic victory against Middlesbrough. Sunderland's safety assured, Borough not safe. Newcastle stretched their unbeaten run to 9 games after holding West Ham at Upton Park. And it's a 10:30 start for tonight's match of the day. As ever, all the goals, all the saves, all the major incidents from those games will be included in the programme. 10:30 start for match of the day. And it's Portsmouth versus Blackburn, Everton versus Aston Villa. Key games in the fight for 5th place. That might or might not earn a UEFA Cup spot. Both will be featured in tomorrow's Match of the Day 2, 10 o'clock start on BBC 2. The lunchtime scenes at Stamford Bridge saw Chelsea beat Manchester United by 2-1. The teams on the same points. Manchester United have the much better goal difference, 2 games to play. Let's head back to St Andrews. John Motson commentated on the Birmingham-Liverpool game for Match of the Day. But first of all, John, what's your reading of the title race now?
Well, I don't think it's all over by a long chalk. I think that West Ham have had such an indifferent second half of the season. It would be just like football, wouldn't it, if they went to Old Trafford, where incidentally the Hammers have got quite a good record. You may recall them winning there on the final day of last season, which kept them up. Ironically, a Tevez goal. Well, I just wonder what might happen when they go to Old Trafford next weekend, bearing in mind that Manchester United have that gigantic match against Barcelona in the meantime. If West Ham could get something at Old Trafford and Chelsea were to win at Newcastle on the Monday following, then it all goes down to the final game.
Opportunity missed for Birmingham this afternoon, given all Liverpool's changes and the situation regarding relegation, John.
Well, it sounds as if Fulham have had an extraordinary match this afternoon, but we had one here. Birmingham were 2-0 up thanks to Seb Larsson's free kick early in the second half. And Liverpool, who, by the way, made 9 changes, there'll be some comment passed about that elsewhere, I've no doubt, came back just when they didn't look terribly interested in the game. They suddenly stepped up a gear, and nobody did more to create the comeback than the ex-Birmingham winger Jermaine Pennant. He really turned it on in the second half. Liverpool got 2 goals back, and in the end, they could have gone on and won the game.
But John, you're right, because now there's Fulham, there's Birmingham, there's Reading and there's Bolton, still all fighting to stay in the Barclays Premier League.
And add Middlesbrough to that, by the way, Ray, I think you'll find, as you said earlier, the mystery has deepened, hasn't it? You couldn't possibly predict it, but I'll tell you one thing that is certain. The best game of next weekend, and I'm pleased to say I'll be there, will be Fulham against Birmingham at Craven Cottage. How much is at stake there? How many £1 million?
Thanks very much, John. He's already looking forward to that one. Fulham kept their Premier League status alive, coming back from 2 goals down to beat Manchester City 3-2. Quite an incredible performance. There's the Fulham manager, Roy Hodgson.
Ever experienced a game like that?
Well, I suppose I have, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. But it was a really splendid victory for us, and one, of course, that we so badly needed.
2-0 down in the second half, and scores the way they were elsewhere at one stage. Fulham were relegated.
So I hear, yeah, I didn't know that, of course. I didn't actually follow the other results. I knew what the half-time scores were, but I didn't know what was happening in the second half. I was just delighted, really, that we could pick ourselves up after what I consider to be a rather unfortunate first half, because I don't think that the way we played meant that we deserved to be losing by 2-0. But I couldn't say that to the players at half-time. I've said that quite a few times at half-time, so I just challenged them to win the second half.
With 20 minutes left at 2-0 down, we had a shot of you, in fairness, looking a bit crumpled. Had you accepted that relegation was almost unavoidable?
No, I think that might have been the situation where their goalkeeper pulled off yet another outstanding save, or one of our shots maybe shaved the post. I think that was probably the shot. I never lost hope or interest in the game. I always thought that if we could get that 1 goal back, we'd be right back in it, and luckily we got it back early enough to give ourselves a chance.
It was their first away win last time at Reading in 33. They go to the City Manchester Stadium. It looks like they've got no chance for most of the game. And you were saying they suddenly transformed themselves.
Roy Hodgson said it was an unfortunate first half. It was a dire first half. It was poor. It was dreadful. Second half was they were unrecognisable. Result of the day.
Now, what about Birmingham? Because they had a chance. They were at the relegation places. Then they're suddenly back in the relegation places.
Yeah, it swung like that in all the games today, and they had a right chance at 2-0, but they just let Liverpool back into it. And when you're down there and you start looking over your shoulder and a big team comes after you, they give the lead away, and it's all going down to the last 2 games. Brilliant.
And what do you think about Bolton and Reading?
Well, I looked at Reading today and I thought, they were pushing and looked like they could win it. They've got a home game against Spurs next week, and I think that's a must-win for them.
And the title race, Manchester United now still? Yeah?
Still for me,
still
yeah.
Manchester
United. Goal difference.
Still just. An extra programme to tell you about. On Sunday on BBC Two at midday, a chance to see the whole of Joe Calzaghe's historic win over Bernard Hopkins in Las Vegas. Another reminder, for news on all today's football and for sports news across the board, the BBC Sport website is constantly being updated. Via the red button, our football service will continue now till 6 o'clock. All the league tables will cycle on the screen. More action from around the country, and Garth, Lee and Gavin will debate the football issues of the day. Press the red button to stay with us here in the Final Score studio. This is where we say goodbye to BBC One viewers. Bye for now.